Hi guys, happy Friday. Anyways, it's gonna be a fucking amazing weekend. I hope. Alright, so part 7 of Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig. And this is still lesson 6, and I see a little bit about demonology in here, so that's really good. Very good. Alright, so we will continue and finish on with this. Alright, so part 7. So one of the rather unique problems of people who spend many hours practicing and studying magic is dealing with other people concerning your interests. Very true. Very true. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people don't understand it, they don't care, and they just think it's a bunch of shit. Well, I don't. So, alright, so generally speaking, there are 4 types of people you will be dealing with in relation to your magical beliefs. Ooh, I don't remember reading this. I did, I read this book when I was like... It didn't make sense. I mean, it did make sense, but not all of it, so, yeah. I think I was probably about 10, 11 when I read this. I wish I could find the cassette tape. Yes, I said cassette tape. Alright, so the first one is those who don't care one way or the other. They just figure that this is something that you're involved in, and so what? They think you're a little bit weird, it falls into the lines of eccentricity, but they also probably think that everybody has a bit of weirdness in them. I would choose one over every other one. So, just, yeah. Alright, so, oh wow, we have a lot. Alright. Alright, so, people in this category are usually too concerned with themselves to bother you. I like that. Yes, stick to yourself. If they ask you any questions about what you do, answer them honestly, but at their level of understanding. So, basically coloring books and crayons. Usually after a few questions they lose interest in that aspect of your life because they find their own life far more interesting. That's called a narcissist. That's a narcissist. A big-time narcissist. Alright, so 2. Religious fanatics. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Alright. Religious fanatics. These people live in a life based on fear and paranoia. Ooh. Alright, I have a comment in my head that I'm going to keep to myself. Or did I say it already? I'll find out when I watch the video back. Alright, okay, so those who've lived a life filled with fear are the ones who are constantly trying to convert you to their particular religious sect or cult. Cult. Alright, they see everything as black and white. We say they. We and they. So since we are right, you must be wrong. Therefore, I have to convert you to my faith because that you will be right and there will be no one around to imply that I, horrors, could be wrong. For I am wrong about this, and I could be wrong about everything in my life, and I am too fearful to spend time examining my life. I know a lot of those. I have a lot of those people in my life. Alright, where'd I go? Oh, okay, so this type of person is frequently, but not always, poorly educated. Mostly poorly educated when it comes to religion and philosophy. Yeah, anyways, I'm trying to be very nice and watch my mouth. Alright, where'd I go? Oh, it was good enough for Daddy, it's good enough to me, is their perspective, or their operative motto. Wow, motto. If these people question you as to what you are doing, a good answer might be studying early Jewish philosophy. That's really, really true, too. So you can disguise it just like the Catholic Church disguises stuff for us. Thank you, guys, for keeping our secrets in your church. Then immediately tell them that they can help you. Oh, then immediately tell them that they can help you. Ask them if they study the Bible. When they say yes, respond, good, I need to talk with someone who is fluent in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. It would take a possession that I don't believe in. Alright, so when they hem and haw, when they hem and haw, and finally admit that they really know little, if any, of those languages, just look at them with surprise on your face and tell them that you hope they will someday really begin to study the Bible, then walk away. Donald Michael Craig, wherever you are, I hope I can contact you on the board, because we have got to have a serious, very serious, cynical witticism, we have got to have a really good conversation. I can see it coming, so I am going to try to contact you on the board. So you better answer me. You hear me? I'm talking to the book. Okay, this is probably one of my weirdest videos ever. Alright. I love this. This is so funny. Alright. Okay, then walk away. Remember, we are not trying to convert anybody to our magical point of view, only learn ways to deal with others who do not share it. I think that's great. And I'm always the one that I get poked and then I bite back. I don't poke the bear, I bite back. So I'm always, well, maybe these people can try to understand that this isn't so bad and that Jesus did this. No, that doesn't work. But I still always have that little bit of hope that people might understand. No, they don't. Alright, so, alright, the other type of religious fanatic is the one filled with paranoia. I know her very well. Wow. Alright, so, these people are usually, but not always, poor and in a lower economic class. Yes, that's true. Although being poor does not, automatically make you one of them. By far. I mean, geez. So they accept the responsibility for nothing in their lives. Their problems are always somebody else's fault. They don't have money because Jews gypped them out of it. Gypped comes from the word gypsy. So here's another minority group unfairly depicted in modern English. Or else, black took all the jobs. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that statement, and I'm not going to say it again. It's always somebody else's fault. So, do you guys know anybody like that? I do. It's funny. It's really funny too. There's no point in arguing with them because eventually they're going to come to you and ask you, hey, can you read my cards? They will. I get it all the time. Don't tell anybody though. Really? You're that quick to turn your back on your false god? Alright, so those with the psychology and a more religious bent blame everything on demons. Alright, here we go. This is a good one. I gotta get the syrup for this. This is better than sex. I'm serious. Alright, here we go. This is fun. Alright, so, and if you actually go and you talk to a priest or a pastor, one of them's for cows, the other's a person, I don't know which was which, but whatever, like a priest or a father, they are actually very understanding if you talk to them one-on-one. If you're alone with them and you talk to them one-on-one and you don't get touched or molested, I did not just say that, then you can actually have a very good conversation. Make sure they're Catholic. Make sure they are Catholic. Because then you can actually have a real conversation with them. Don't know why. I have no clue why. It's the Catholics that understand. The witch is the best. Or pagans and all that stuff. So, demons cause their addiction to alcohol or tobacco or overeating. Well, actually, no, that'd be scientific. So there's scientific reasoning behind all of that. Demons keep them impotent or frigid. Demons control the bosses, so I can't keep a job. Wrong. It's all your fault. That's true, too. If this is the type of person who asks what you are doing, the best answer is minding my own business and wondering why you aren't doing the same. Oh, that's good. Quite simply, these people cannot be dealt with on any level. They can. You can really get into their minds and you can really warp them, and it's funny and it's fun. But it's not the right thing to do. Or is it? Alright. So therefore, it is best to get them out of your hair quickly. Yeah, I don't want anybody touching my hair. These people can often be quite dangerous. They are too. Very dangerous. Watch the news. Actually, no, don't watch the news. Alright, so people with paranoid personalities may become schizophrenic and commit violently antisocial behavior. Alright, so this is taking me back to the Amityville Horror. The Amityville Murders, which I watched last night. Evidently, you know, after The Nun or The Curse of La Llorona, she was tied into the Conjuring series. Yeah, so yeah, that's one scene. The father, the priest. But the curandero, he turned his back on the church, but not on God. That's what I loved. Alright, now back to the schizophrenic people. Alright, so these are the people who roast their children in order to burn the demons out of them. So, these people were the sadists of the various inquisitions, so stay away from them. 3. Okay. Third are those who don't want to believe in the possibility of something they can't understand in their own terms. These people, if they discover you are interested in magic, will primarily try to mock and make fun of you. Alright, now that is my main thing here. So they don't have to deal with you if you and what you believe in are merely jokes. So you can ignore these people and they will quickly lose interest in trying to antagonize you. True. Very true. They lose interest quickly. On the other hand, if you are quick to anger, oops, I am, a clever repartee can quiet them quickly. If someone asks you to turn them into a toad and ask them why. After all, it would be redundant, although I don't really suggest it. If the person is obnoxious, you could add this to this by referring to his eating material, flies, and upon what material flies like to sit. Other allusions, not illusions, could be made to the similarity of the person's appearance with that of a frog, etc. So if you go this route, the idea is to turn the topic away from you and onto the other person. A little bit of reverse psychology there. I like it. 4. Finally comes a more or less logically minded person who is interested in what you have to say, but as yet does not understand. So yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, everybody. What I like to tell this type of person is that I am studying ancient, little-known metaphysical theories. 2,000 years ago, these theories included physics, mathematics, geometry, medicine, and astronomy. That'll get them right. That'll get them right there. Just with that. Reading, writing, and many other things. So in those days, many of the beliefs were far more subjective than objective. So today, this is no longer true. Thus, what I am studying are the subjective philosophies of the present, which are destined to become the objective sciences of the future. So that really will throw people off big time. So I agree with the author of What is that word? SSOTBME? It looks like so mote it be. So who claims that there are 4 major viewpoints, which we all have to a greater or lesser degree. So these are logic, observation, feeling, and intuition. Mix intuition with logic and you get a religious bias. Mix feelings with intuition and you get an artistic bias. Mix logic and observation and you get a scientific bias. So I choose to mix feelings with observation. This result is a magical bias. Wow, that's interesting. Some very good things to throw out at people if you're ever questioned about what you're doing and why. So, from this philosophy, everything is relative. If you have a strong religious bias, science and art would appear in some instances to be forms of magic. A stronger scientific bent would have a person see economics, and psychology as being more of magical or artistic than scientific. An artistic bias would have a person thinking that astrology and philosophy are very scientific. Who would be right? Who? Alright, all of them, from their own particular point of view. Thus, if we can discover where a person's particular bias lies, we can perhaps present our interest in ways which will be most easily understood by the person confronting us. So, remembering, the important part of dealing with people who are confronting you is to quickly gain control of the conversation. Then turn it around and talk about the other person rather than letting the discussion be about you. I thought it was pretty funny. I think it's great. So that is the end of, let's see, lesson 6. That was just part 7. Really good part. A really good part. I love it. So, now we are going to go into lesson 7, part 1. So, very interesting. Very interesting stuff. More on astral magic, gray magic, all that good stuff. Alright. So, back in lesson 5 of this course, he states, I shared with you the important occult magical secret that whatever is created on the astral plane eventually would manifest in our world, the physical plane. So this means, of course, that if you create something in the astral world, it will eventually show up in our day-to-day reality. If you create wealth for yourself on the astral plane, you will become wealthy. If you create a new car for yourself on the astral, you will eventually get that car. So, but it takes work, not the secret. From this, it should be obvious that the basis for gray magic is the creation of a desired goal on the astral plane. The reason there are many different forms of styles of gray magic is that there are many ways to implant a creation into the astral level of reality. So personally, he says, I have always found ritual or ceremonial magic to be the most effective for me. This is because I find the use of intense symbolism mixed with ritual to be highly evocative. So, when well performed, a ceremony affects me very deeply. Plus, ritual magic also uses the assistance of spiritual entities from other planes of existence. So other forms of gray magic I can use successfully, but I find them personally more tedious and less fun. Yeah. Maybe. However, there is another system which is not ceremonial magic per se, but it is important to know. A knowledge of this style of magic can aid you in understanding how magic works. Also, this system is very simple and effective. With this system, you can successfully work magic with no tools other than a pencil and a piece of paper. I think I know where they're going with this. So, okay, he says, as I have said, the major differences between various styles of magic are based upon different ways of getting an idea or thing created in the astral plane, or what is Kabbalistically known as Yetziratic world. So, in this simple system, we must discover how this can be done. And we will get this done. We will do this, and we'll see what we all manifest. First, we must remember that there are links between the conscious and the unconscious. When our unconscious sends a message to the conscious, it's called intuition. If the conscious cannot deal with the information given by the unconscious and represses that information, psychological and physical problems can result. PTSD, that box in the head that represses. So, in some instances, this can result in a person requiring psychological or psychiatric aid. Very true. So, there are also other methods for the subconscious to contact the conscious. So, if you have forgotten some of these, reread the previous sections on dreams and past life experiences. So, we have astral, and then we have subconscious, and we have physical plane. So, this is the diagram that he gives, and I really like it because it's very simple. Astral plane, we have the subconscious, physical plane, so it has to travel. It has to travel. Alright, so, more important for our purposes, however, is the fact that there are also methods which will allow the conscious to contact and send messages to our subconscious. This is important because the subconscious is our direct link to the astral plane. So this means that whatever we put into the subconscious must eventually become a physical reality. It's really neat how the brain works. It really is, and how it coincides with magic and matches up. Modern science is definitely catching up to this. So there are two common ways for this conscious to unconscious communication to occur at will. They relate to the modern right brain, left brain theories of mentality. So the left hemisphere of the brain is said to deal with logic, mathematics, and deductive reasoning. So the right hemisphere deals with intuition, inductive reasoning, feeling, and art. So before going on, he says, I am going to interject that I do not believe in the total reality of this theory. Its implication is that the mind, that part of our total self, which actually thinks is nothing more than the few pounds of nervous tissues between our ears. My personal belief is that there is a type of symbiotic relationship that exists between the physical brain and the non-physical mind. An example of this is the fact that taking of certain drugs and substances can alter the way we think and perceive the universe around us. So this has led to some people to claim that the conscious is nothing more than a chemical state. No, it's far more than just a chemical state. But the fact of the matter is that some people have a very tenuous link between their mind and brain. So these people may remain entirely unaffected by substances, which would have an enormous psychoactive effect on most of us. So see, my tolerance for everything is skyrocket high. It wouldn't have an effect on me. In this example, we can clearly see that altering the chemical makeup of the brain does not necessarily change the workings of the mind. This invalidates the idea that the mind and the brain, even though closely linked, in most people are one and the same. So furthermore, the right brain, left brain theory is an oversimplification of the complex reality of the mind-brain unit. Still, as a theory, it does not have a value. Primarily, it shows that the mind has a type of duality, the interplay of opposites. Perhaps it would be the more appropriate to say that a part of the mind deals more with the intuitive, while another part deals with the deductive. Further, these parts of the mind are related to what is commonly called the right brain, left brain theory. In order to facilitate your understanding of this course's material, he states, I will use a right brain, left brain terminology as a concession to popular terms. The system of magic associated with the left brain is commonly known as the use of positive affirmations. So in this system, you merely say over and over what it is that you desire. So in this sense, it is an attempt to use your conscious to convince your subconscious through reason, logic, and rote repetition that this or that is what you want, desire, or need. Interesting. So this system is related to the right hemisphere of the brain, is known as creative visualization, and it's amazing. In this system, you consciously put an image, a visualization, into your conscious mind, knowing that eventually this image will be absorbed into the subconscious. So people who use either positive affirmations or creative visualizations are only using half of their mind or brains in order to create a different reality in their lives. Some people are very successful using either system, so most people practicing one system or the other have only a modicum of success. So the simple Kabbalistic system, he says, which I am going to present, uses a very effective combination of both positive affirmations and creative visualization. I love this. This is awesome. So both I and many of my students have found the Kabbalistic system to be far more magically effective than either creative visualization or positive affirmation by themselves. Also, there is a Kabbalistic secret which will help improve magical success with this and the other two systems. But I will have to get to that in a few moments. So, here we go. First, let us assume that someone knows how to create something on the astral plane. Does this mean that this person will always get what is created? Clearly, many people attempt creative visualization and or positive affirmations and have no successful result. Perhaps you have tried one of these systems and not achieved the result you desired. Thus, to a casual observer or one who is unfamiliar with the inner secrets of these forms of mental magic, It will seem that the answer is, my rhetorical question is, no, a person does not always get what he or she creates on the astral plane. But once you understand the following information, you will see that the real answer is yes, a person always gets what he or she creates on the astral plane. And you do. You eventually get it. Let us assume that John Magus is a man who knows how to create things on the astral plane. He spent 15 minutes this morning creating wealth for himself on the astral plane. Then he spent 5 minutes worrying about how he was going to pay his bills. Later, he spent 10 minutes thinking about how little money he had. When he arrived home from work, he saw more bills in the mail and worried about them and about how he was going to raise the money to pay for them. So although Mr. Magus had spent 15 minutes creating wealth, he spent too much time throughout the day thinking about and thus creating poverty. To repeat, he is creating his own poverty. This is why he is poor. Alright, so yes, the power of positive thinking actually is very powerful. So you see, we are constantly creating on the astral plane. Most of the systems of creative visualization or positive affirmations, which you may read about or study, do not take this occult fact into consideration. So the Kabbalistic system, he says, I'm about to share with you, will allow you exactly how to be in control of this process. Alright, now, if you saw what John Magus was doing and didn't know that we are always creating on the astral plane, you might think that John Magus has failed in his attempt to create wealth. But although it is true that he failed to create wealth, he was successful in creating the poverty he was spending so much time thinking about. Remember, we are always creating on the astral plane, whether or not we are consciously trying to do so or not. So, yeah, that really did that. Yes, that's my problem. So, there are a few other reasons why positive affirmations and creative visualizations may not appear to be successful. First, there is an important cosmic law which forbids waste. So, one author refers to the effect of this law as the sphere of availability. If you cannot afford food on which to live, yet you use one of the two systems so far described to obtain a car, you may not achieve your goal. This is because you would really not be able to use the car effectively. If you can't afford food, how will you be able to afford fuel, oil, insurance, tires, brakes, etc.? Lots to take in. Lots. It would be a waste for you to own a car, and a cosmic law forbids waste. A version of this law is used in physics. Since cosmic law forbids waste, this includes wasted space. Thus it is said that nature abhors a vacuum. So it is important to understand that merely because something may look wasteful to you does not mean that on a cosmic scale it would be wasteful. So thus don't worry about what somebody else is trying to create. Make sure that what you are trying to bring into your life is necessary for you. So John Magus should work to get a job before he works to get a car. Alright, so you have to have everything, you have to have like your ducks in a row, and then kaboom, you achieve your goal. So another reason for apparent lack of success may be due to karmic lessons which you need to learn. Which you need to learn for your mental and spiritual evolution. If you need to learn a lesson related to poverty, there will be no way for you to break out of that poverty until you have learned the necessary lesson or lessons for your evolutionary advancement. So that kind of does suck in a way. But here is the Kabbalistic system of mental magic. 1. Start by writing down on a piece of paper the following statement. So, it is my will to use all of my abilities to obtain the following goal. Insert. Goal right there. Alright. A. At the end of the statement, fill in whatever it is that you want. Be simple, and B. Be specific. So, most people do not want money. They want money for a purpose, such as a better lifestyle, a better car, etc. If you have a long-term goal, choose the first step towards that goal. If it is your aim to be a teacher, it should be your first goal to get the training necessary for you to teach. So, if it is your goal to do something noble, such as to serve, then that is very good, but serve in what way? What way? Yeah. So, a doctor serves, but so does garbage collector or a waitress. Each needs a vastly different type of training to become successful in that field. So, alright. 2. Now, make a visual picture of yourself involved in that goal. If you want a car, see yourself in that car. If you want a better lifestyle, see yourself wearing something which represents that lifestyle, etc. So this image will be used for visualization. A. Always involve yourself in the image. Make the image movable. If you can't visualize that well, just close your eyes, visualize it, and lots of movement. It works, and it works well. B. Remember, some people cannot visualize to an extent where they can see something in their mind's eye. If you cannot thus see, there is still no problem, but you must know that what you are visualizing, if you had better developed astral vision, is really existent on the astral plane. And not just believe this to be so, but know it to be so. Alright, so C. For help, you can make a treasure map. To do this, simply go through magazines or newspaper and cut out images of your goal. Paste them together on a piece of cardboard or paper to form a magical collage. If you prefer, you may draw the images rather than cut them out. Be sure to include yourself in the treasure map, either by putting a picture of yourself in the map or writing the word "me" in the center of your map. So yeah, it's that sounds a little like The Secret, but this is a lot more advanced. Alright, so 3. Every day for 5 minutes in the morning, just after you awake, and for 5 minutes in the evening, just before going to sleep, repeat the phrase you wrote out in step 1 in a firm but quiet voice. Do this only once in the morning and evening. Spend the rest of the 5-minute period either visualizing the image you made in step 2, or looking at the treasure map you made in that step. So see, smell, taste, feel, and sense the visualization. It's the only way it's going to happen. A. Only do this process at morning and at night. However, any time during the day that you realize that you are having thoughts contrary to your goal, as with Mr. John Magus, immediately begin repeating your magical phrase until the contrary thoughts pass away. So, you have to combat those thoughts. 4. Silence is also an important factor in this process. Once you have completed your statement and visualization, forget it. Put it out of your mind. Let it go. You are using many cosmic forces. In this process, if you talk with others about what you are doing, it sends the energy into discussion rather than into manifestation. So if you talk about what you are doing to yourself, such as by wondering about how well you are doing with this Kabbalistic system, you are doubting your success. Just do it with all of your heart and know it will work, and be silent about it. Aleister Crowley talks about a time he was low on money. He did a ritual to raise the money he needed to pay his rent. So he has such a positive attitude about his magic that he went into town and spent some of his remaining meager funds on ice cream. Oh, by the way, he did get the money, which was necessary to pay his rent. I do remember reading that in one of his books. So, alright. So 5. Here's the Kabbalistic secret promised earlier in this lesson. If you reread some of the earlier material given in this course, you will notice that one place is mentioned that the astral plane, also known as the Yezeretic world, is related to the emotions. The secret is that more emotionally involved that you become with your goal, the greater your chances for rapid success. Sort of wanting something will not have the success of gotta have something. The more worked up emotionally you get over your desire, especially when stating your desire and doing the visualization, the faster it will manifest. I have manifested things within seconds. It took me years to manifest some things with a what are those boards called? A vision board. That's what they're called right now. But yeah, I have manifested so much, and then, you know, it's just all of us. It's our fault. If we're poor, it's, you know, it is our fault. If we're sick, it's our fault. Not always, I mean, we're human, so just, you know, put that aside. Alright, so feelings, emotions. Okay, that very simply is the Kabbalistic system of mental magic. Practice the system daily until you get what you want, then immediately start anew with another goal. Keep your emotions high, and success must inevitably follow. That's a very good technique. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this throughout the weekend and see if you guys want to do this with me, maybe. So some people wonder why the peculiar wording is used for magical phrase given in step 2. The choice of words is very important, should always be used. It is my will. So, means that you are using your will, your consciousness, and putting that aspect of yourself in charge of the subconscious. So most people tend to allow their subconscious to control them without even knowing it. These 4 words indicate a change in your life, that you are no longer an ordinary person. You are becoming a true witch. So, quote, to use all of my abilities, unquote, is important because it is telling your subconscious that all the abilities which you possess, whether you are aware of them or not, are to be used in achieving the goal. Thus, even if you are not aware of your innate psychic powers, your subconscious, as a result of being ordered to do so by your conscious, will order those powers to be put to use to achieve your goal. Very amazing. It's so simple that it's hard. Like, some people are so smart that they're stupid. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. So, where did I go? Okay, so here is the important word, is goal. This is not a lighthearted wish or a mild desire. This is a goal toward which you will be directing your entire life at this time. If you cannot direct all of your efforts toward that goal, don't even start this process. Start small. A cup of coffee. An ice cream cone of a very odd flavor that you really like. A piece of candy. Something small. So, alright, let's say that you want an expensive book on magic, and you use the Kabbalistic system of mental magic to obtain it, but then instead of saving your money, you spend it on some records or tapes. Oh, records and tapes. Anyways, this is a message to your subconscious that you don't really want to achieve the goal of getting the book. Now I see where a lot of my stuff have gone wrong. So, I make mistakes too. Although in this particular instance, he says, I am saying that it is important to save your money for the book. I'm not saying that it will be necessary to spend all of that money for the book. Nowhere in the magical phrase of intent does it say how you are to obtain the goal. Let it come to you as it is. So, but you must still use all of your abilities to obtain it. In this case, it means saving your money. In the instance of Crowley mentioned earlier, he had done a ritual to obtain money, all of the money he would need so that he could pay a rent bill. What little he had at the time was not relevant since he was going to go out and get work to earn money. Ice cream, duh. See, there was a subconscious link. I forgot about the ice cream thing. Boom, there we go, ice cream. I'm going to manifest ice cream today in some odd form or another. Alright, now let's recap the Kabbalistic system of mental magic briefly. 1. Come up with a specific goal and write it down in given form. 2. Come up with a visualization which involves you. Use a treasure map if it will help. I don't think the treasure map would help me. No. 3. Recite the goal and do the visualization for 5 minutes when you wake up, and 5 minutes before going to sleep. Become emotionally involved with the goal. 4. If something comes to mind which contradicts your goal during the day, immediately repeat the magical phrase, like a mantra. Keep it like a mantra, until the contradictory thought is gone. Alright, now that's a lot to take in for one day, especially with this. So, I really want to hear your guys' opinions on your methods of manifestation. How do you manifest? Does it just poof? Do you instantly manifest it? Or does it take forever? So, and I particularly love the different types of religious fanatics. I thought that was great. That was seriously great. So, alright guys, tomorrow we'll go on to part 2 of this. Oh, my leg is asleep. Yeah, it's definitely asleep. Ouch. So yeah, wake up. So yes, I hope you guys enjoy. I thought that was really interesting. Very interesting. So, let's see what we can manifest. Alright guys, I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you guys for joining in on the chat yesterday, the live chat. That was fun. So, I'll see you guys soon, and I love you all. Everybody have a good weekend and be safe. Stay cool or warm wherever you're at. I love you all the way from Venus, all the way back down. And yes, everybody have a great weekend.